all, I must congratulate the organizers for making me a part of this historic moment, I must say, because this is a conference conducted in India for the first time. And my congratulations to all my co-participants who all are here and all the audience present over here. And I sincerely thank Dr. Bala to provide me a space to present a paper here. Yes, my paper is critical thinking, an essential prerequisite to philosophical counseling. I would try my best to put my thoughts into words so that it can communicate my feelings, my thoughts in front of all of you. I mean, before presenting the paper, I'm just let me have you a glimpse of it, because my paper is having three things altogether. First of all, it is philosophical counseling as such. Second, critical thinking as an essential tool for philosophical counseling. And the third and the foremost aspect is the blended of both philosophical counseling as well as critical thinking in our life skill or lifestyle skills tools. Let me start with philosophical counseling. As we all know, counseling is a typical professional assistance and guidance required for resolving multiple conflicting issues of life. It helps in providing a comfortable zone by the experts in the particular field. That is, it could be legal, educational, marriage, family, financial, mental health, and so many other fields. But philosophy, being reflective in nature, has an important role to play in counseling for resolving the life issues. As in the morning, very rightly, Professor G. Mishra Govadavari Mishra said that philosophy has a pertinent role in every type of counseling, being the mother discipline of knowledge. First of all, my thing is I'm addressing three things. Why, what is philosophical counseling, why it is required, and how, what is the methodology we need to take care of. Philosophical counseling is a consistent conversational activity between a trained philosopher and a client, in which the client's life problems are sorted out through thorough investigations with the help of various tools derived from different aspects of philosophy, that is logic, ethics, metaphysics, and epistemology, as and when required, through the operating beliefs, values, and habits of action that provides the motivational factors relating to the problems coming across in the affected person's life. Philosophical counseling is an attempt to understand the ideas and worldviews associated with the client's portrayal of life problems, which requires to a feeling of mental peace. Though philosophical counseling has its roots in Socratic dialogue, it is emerging. I mean, this professional aspect of philosophical counseling or philosophical practice, it is towards during 19th to 20th century, it is emerging in a better way. But it is also available in Indian tradition even long before, through the dialects of Bhagavad Gita, that is, we can say commentary as counseling, controlling desire, that is niskama karma, or apodipa vibhava, that is Buddhistic preaching, and Krishna's action as a midwifery, and so many other things. Why philosophical counseling is required? What is the relevance or benefit of philosophy? Philosophy, being a cognitive activity, is a reflective. So philosophical counseling as a process educates, empowers, as well as reorients the person in need as and when required on the basis of self-examination and transformation. It is not just a therapy which is limited in its scope, but beyond it, like any other philosophical investigation which changes time to time depending on the involved space, time, person, and the situation. It is important for a person because one has to look inside one's own life and rectifying or managing the conflicting issues of one's life as and when necessary. A well-erudite intervention is in this present life by taking lessons from past through self-reflection will certainly reshape one's future towards betterment to some extent as it brings inner change in a person. It helps the counselee to develop the rational or cognitive thinking skill, enhance the ethical aptitude for being empathetic, to learn the skills of judgment for what to do and what to reject, and also helps in learning how to reflect and introspect with proper justification for further course of action and decision. The process of self-examination and self-actualization may help in creating a driving force within to transform a weak-willed person gradually to become a confident and strong one to face the odds of life. It can lead us to a harmonious state of living in this world. And what is the methodology? How philosophical counseling can be possible? We need three things. We need a counselor, we need the activity of philosophizing, which is counseling, and we need a client who is the puzzled mind. Normally philosophical counselor is a professional or philosophy practitioner with a philosophical background, usually with an MA or PhD or whatever, the degree of philosophy, who is approached by counselees and discuss with them in various conflicting issues of their life through effective communications. The counselor helps the client step by step through appropriate tools to explore, comprehend, and finally to energize him to bring back to his or her real self. Person with well-equipped knowledge of various philosophical theories, both from East and West, along with good understanding and life experience, can also serve as philosophical counselors. She has to be a reflective self-evaluator, as expressed by Professor Wala in the morning, that even non-academia can be can serve as a philosophy counselor. That is what even I believe in. Counselee, who is a counselee? The counselee is the one who seeks intellectual or rational guidance to find out the right way to move further towards a better enlightened life or puzzle-free life. She is like the fly who wants to get out of the fly bottle, as rightly Wittgenstein points it. Now, the act of counseling needs various tools like identification, examination, clarification, analysis, synthesis, diagnosis, observation, analogy, formulation, and contemplation, reflection, blah, blah, can be used for resolving conflicting issues concerning the counseling. Tools for self-exploration through reflexive analysis also plays a vital role for this task. The process of critical examining the client's core truths and values help them to analyze the reasons and evidence that supports their beliefs, discover the strength and weakness, as well as the benefits and the challenges of their way of thinking, and compare them with alternative perspectives. It also helps them to become aware of inconsistencies between beliefs and conflicts between beliefs and the habits of action, what they say and what they do. Critical thinking is an essential element involved in the entire process of philosophical counseling. The counselor helps the client to identify and reconstruct the dysfunctional goals, images, values, feelings, and beliefs through critical thinking and help them to reconstruct those dysfunctional perceptions into positive natural flow of their lives. Now, coming back to critical thinking. Thinking is a normal mental process, as we all know from Descartes' cogito ergo sum, I think, therefore I am. And it is simple as our normal physiological processes. But when I'm coming back to critical thinking is a reflective thinking which is defined by John Dewey as an active, persistent, and careful consideration of any belief or supposed form of knowledge in the light of grounds that supports it and identified it with the scientific attitude of mind. It is a second order activity which is formulated within the self with the motive of fulfilling a higher order desire, converted to a higher order will. Critical thinking is widely accepted goal for clear understanding of conflicting issues that may be stated more effectively as a kind of careful thinking. And because of respect for students' autonomy and preparing students for being successful in life, as well as to lead a democratic citizenship. It helps one in improving one's ability to form, hold, and discard general beliefs and to acknowledge and meet the standards of good thinking. It helps in providing clarity in understanding and helps in resolving dilemmas or inconsistencies by providing multiple perspectives in form of hypotheses to achieve an appropriate solution. It is self-guided, self-disciplined thinking which attempts to reason at the highest level of quality in fair-minded way. People who think critically, consistently attempt to live rationally, reasonably, and empathetically. Who is a critical thinker? I mean, what are the characteristics of a critical thinker? A critical thinker is a person who thinks clearly and rationally, and definitely he should have these characteristics like inquisitiveness with regard to wide range of issues, consent to remain well informed, alertness to opportunities to use critical thinking, trust in process of reasoned inquiry, self-confidence in one's own ability to reason, open-mindedness regarding divergent worldviews, flexibility in considering alternative and opinions, understanding the opinions of other people, fair-mindedness in appraising reasoning, honesty in facing one's own biases, prejudices, stereotype, egocentric tendencies, and willingness to consider and revise views where honest reflections suggest that change which is warranted. So many, such kind of characteristics are required. And what are the tools of critical thinking or reflective thinking? Normally, we expect minute observation, curiosity to know, objectivity, analyzing capacity, introspection, identification, evaluation, inferential attitude, explanation, self-correction, verification, and empathy, so that the person can develop some kind of valuable intellectual traits and universal intellectual standards that are intellectual honesty, to perceive rational and emotional aspects of life, analytical prediction, elimination of mistakes, building self-determination skills like goal setting, decision-making, self-advocacy, and problem-solving, seeking the truth, courage of accepting unconditionally, developing compassion, ascription of responsibility, becoming ourself, that is I, thou relationship, confirming the creative inner development. These are the, expectation. Once becoming a critical thinker, we can develop such kind of things. So once we are coming across these things, then I'm coming back to the philosophical theories. Philosophical theories are different. I mean, Western theories also, we are going through many epistemological, logical, metaphysical, ethical, many such theories are available, and all academia, because all philosophy persons are available over here. So we are well acquainted with all kind of theories. These are required. Not only theory, but theory transmitting or transforming into practice is equally required. And Indian theories also, Indian philosophical theories are also, let me cite few of them. In Western theory, just because this philosophical counseling or practice is started with Socratic dialogue, that is examining oneself. First, you start your examination of the self. Same is the way Indian thinkers are also starting with Buddha. Buddha says, apodipo bhava. I mean, be enlighten yourself first, then you look for others once you are getting enlightened. The same is, I mean, Upanishadic ways of thinking. Once we are taking the Mahavakyas, also in Mahavakya, whether it is Pragyanam Brahma or Aham Brahmasmi or Ayam Atma Brahma or Tattvamasi, we all are here. Starting with the self-examination, self-realization, self-awareness, and once you are advocating yourself, making a self-analysis, you can always develop that kind of compassion and empathy to execute it to others. So in that also, even Jaina tradition also, they are developing that karma theory, which is executing all these things. So what I mean to say, towards a conclusion, I can say that philosophical thinking is essential at this hour of need to move forward to a harmonious life. If we need a harmonious life, we need a philosophical counseling, definitely. Critical thinking being an essential part has to be there to provide a way out. Be it a Socratic dialogue or Indian seers realization through all theories, all involves critical thinking. It is a journey that starts with self-counseling, that is self-realization, and move forward to counsel others. This process is a purely humanistic one. Hence, a self-aware person can guide the puzzled mind with appropriate tools as per requirement. As Professor Perry pointed out very rightly in the morning, that problems are like multifaceted jam. Where to start, how to move needs to be correctly pointed out first, and that medication, that therapy or that counseling needs to start from the right point of view. So that is a requirement, the very essential requirement here. Yes, every counseling starts with philosophy, but what guidance we need to take need to be rightly guided by the philosopher, for which the philosopher need to be a very fair, impartial, just person. Transformation in Indian system are already in front of us. Let me, to cite few. Prince Siddhartha has become transformed into Gautam Buddha. Naren has transformed to Swami Vivekananda. Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi is transformed to Mahatma, and a disappointed Arjuna is transformed to an enlightened Arjuna. So all these cases are very, in front of us, And of course, we have that Socratic dialogue of questioning ourselves, questioning to every and doubt for doubt's sake. All these things are. So philosophical counselor need to act as a reflective self-evaluator. So that is most important. Uh, and critical thinking is whatever may be the type of counseling, whether it is whatever counseling it is, unless and until, because it need to have a higher order desire. It is a second order thinking. We need to desire to do it first, then only you can formulate a will within, then that can be transformed into a higher order action in contribution. I mean, we can contribute in form of counseling. This is what my paper is in all. And I don't know whether I'm in time or not. Maybe I'm within the time, but my submission is I must thank the organizers through this, that like Dr. is that the environment is totally polluted now. We are all encircled with all kind of evil things. We are into crime, we are into corruption, we are into all kind of negativity. So these are polluting the entire world scenario. And to get out of this scenario, we need to start teaching philosophy, which I feel it is, I mean, fairness and just is the basis of philosophy.